34-year-old girl is murdered in her own house at night. In the morning, the forensic department comes and collects thousands of types of evidence and takes them away. After this, years after years pass, but for 40 years, no one finds out who the killer is. But a can of Coca-Cola does something such that a 40-year-old case gets solved in 40 hours. To hear this story, you will have to come with me to a state in America, Laredo, and believe me, this case will solve your problem. It is the story of 1981. 34-year-old Sylvia was a very ambitious girl in college. She was an archaeologist by profession, reading history, looking at maps of history, taking inspiration from historical buildings and making maps of new buildings were her occupations. Along with this, she also had her own business of making wedding cakes. And overall, Sylvia was an independent girl, and after becoming financially stable, she took a house of her own near her parents' house where she used to live alone. But she always used to have morning coffee with her family. It was the 4th of August, 1981. It was 8 o'clock in the morning, and like every day, Sylvia's father went to her house for morning coffee to join him. On reaching the house, he saw a very strange atmosphere. The door of the house was open, and the door of the back door was also open. As soon as her father went inside the house, he saw that Sylvia was lying in the middle of the living room and bedroom covered in blood. Now he ran to Sylvia and saw that blood was oozing out of Sylvia's body. And the thing to notice was that there was not a single piece of clothing on Sylvia's body. Both her hands were tied in the same coffin. His shirt was tied and a towel was placed on her mouth. They removed the towel and see that Sylvia has been shot in the head. She has been stabbed in the chest several times. Seeing Sylvia naked like this, they push the towel off her body. Then they go to the phone to call the ambulance and the police because this was the year 1981. Mobile phones were invented only 10 years ago. Most of the houses still have landline phones. When they reach the phone, they see that someone had cut the landline wire. When the police reaches Sylvia's house, her father tells them that Sylvia's body was naked and he had covered her with the towel. The police removes the towel so that they can cover the crime scene without disturbing it. Sylvia's body is sent for post-mortem, after which the department immediately searches her house. On investigation, they find that an attempt has been made to break the bedroom window, but the window could not be broken due to its being too strong. After which they go to the bathroom, and there they see that a very big window of the bathroom is completely broken, and the way out of that window leads straight into the bushes. They also search the bushes to collect evidence, and about 6 feet away in the bushes they find the glass of the broken window. Many evidences are also found from inside the house. Even though Sylvia's body was found on the floor between the drawing room and the bedroom, a lot of blood was spread on the bed in Sylvia's bedroom. Her entire bedsheet, pillow covers, and doormats were all covered in blood. The police also found a knife lying near the bed in the blood. Now this knife was Sylvia's bedsheet, Sylvia's pillow cover, an orange-colored towel lying near the bed which had washed Sylvia's face, and since Sylvia's body was found without clothes, some tissue was taken from her private part, and Sylvia's shirt with which her hands were tied. The forensic department takes all these things with them for examination. Along with examining all the evidence, the police also talks to the family members, and when Sylvia's family is questioned, the family members tell that no one had come to Sylvia's house on 4th August. Along with this, the police also come to know that at 11 p.m., Sylvia had talked to her sister on the phone. This proves that at 11 p.m., Sylvia had talked to her sister on the phone. By 11 p.m., after the murder, the phone wires were found cut. This shows that whoever had entered Sylvia's house must have entered after 11 p.m. Absalia's post-mortem report comes in, which there are 2 causes of death. First, she was stabbed 3 times on the chest, due to which her heart and both lungs were severely injured. Due to excessive blood loss, she died. Secondary, and neither did the forensic scientist have such a good machine that could examine all those things so closely, so the investigation got prolonged. 2 years after the incident, i.e., in 1983, there were some developments in forensic science where they created an alternative light in which DNA could be seen very closely. And finally, in 1983, they placed orange-colored DNA on the body of Sylvia, on the towel, on the shirt, on the pillow cover, on the bedsheet. Immediately the DNA was identified, i.e. someone else's DNA was identified, but the problem was that the DNA was in such a small amount that it was not possible to remove it from those things and send it for matching. Time passed, but with time, science also progressed, and the CBI finally developed the DNA and found it to be of a man. With the help of CBI and FBI, they put that DNA in the computer system for matching, but it does not match with the records of any criminal, which means that whoever was the killer, this was probably his first and last crime. Meanwhile, a thief took false accusation on himself, but later in the investigation it was found that the thief wanted to go to jail to get free food and free cigarettes, so he wanted to trap himself by lying. After this, every year CBI and FBI tried to match the DNA with the database, but till 2020, this DNA did not match with anyone in any database. Now the year 2020 comes. In 2020, a company, United Data Collect, comes forward, which used to keep DNA samples of people in their database for health-related research. Now SBI takes their help, and now 26 the DNA found in Sylvia's house in 2020 matches with the DNA of a family tree. The police found it easy when they found very few people left in the family. Gradually, the police ruled out everyone, and the needle of suspicion fell on only one person, a man who used to live about 20 kilometers away from Sylvia's house in 1981 and was living in a nearby place named Nebras. Now the police started visiting her building. One day a man went to collect the garbage of the building and dump it in the dustbin near the house. Taking advantage of the situation, the police picked up those bags and took them to the foreign chackwals. The police found a bill in the garbage in the name of Jasper Sheesh. It had his email address and a list of the items he had purchased. Among the items he had purchased, there was also the name of a can of Coca-Cola, which was of vanilla flavor, and luckily that can is also found in the same garden. The police matches the scanned DNA with the DNA found in Sylvia's house, and the DNA matches. The police returns today's number and arrests a 62-year-old man named David Danby from the building who murdered Sylvia 40 years ago. When he murdered Sylvia, he must have been about 22 years old. 40 years later, he would not have expected that the police would come looking for him and he would be placed in jail. Now the case goes on in the court. The police present all their evidence in the court. Along with this, a twist comes in the story. David says that Sylvia was murdered by her boyfriend, who was very aggressive and had already beaten Sylvia several times. He also got information about this. Sylvia's family also had it, and he had gone to Sylvia's house with Sylvia's consent. That's why his DNA was found in Sylvia's house, and he found out the police's mistake that the police did not keep Sylvia's boyfriend under investigation. But all this was his excuse to escape punishment, because the forensic department found only 2 types of DNA around the crime scene, one of Sylvia and the other of David, after which David was sentenced to life imprisonment in 2022 because he was the one who showed all the evidence against David. That's why David was punished, but why he attacked Sylvia in this way in her house has not been officially cleared yet. But the police believe that David had gone to Sylvia's house for sexual motives, and after sexually assaulting her, he killed her. Sylvia got justice, but his parents are no longer alive to see justice. Today, justice is with Sylvia. To see this happening, he has only one younger sister from his family who is married, and after hearing the verdict of this case, the judge had said an interesting line. He said, if a crime has been committed against someone, then you have to hope that the police and foreign check will definitely help you, and you will definitely get justice. And the second line he had said is that those who have committed crime till date and have escaped, they should not think that they have escaped forever. The police is there for you. If you are interested in true crime stories, then you can subscribe to this channel, and if you find this case interesting, then please definitely like the video and subscribe the channel.